The MCAS student roster can help users understand how individual students are performing on the MCAS and how they've performed since the last MCAS. Click each on-screen question to learn more about this report. The MCAS student roster displays a list of students and their scaled scores, achievement levels, and SGPs for all tested subjects in a given test administration. MCAS scaled scores range between 200 and 280, and students are grouped into one of 4 performance levels based on their scaled scores. Student growth percentiles range between 1 and 99. SGPs between 1 and 39 are considered lower growth, while the 40 to 60 range is considered moderate growth, and 61 to 99 represents higher growth. For more information about SGP, please see ESE's Basics of the Growth Model tutorial. To generate the report, select the student group, the prompt page type, the district, the school, the test year, and the test grade level you want to see. Click Next when you've made your selections. If you want, you can also select optional MCAS filters to limit the roster to students who are at certain performance levels, who are of a particular race or ethnicity or gender, or who belong to any subgroup. If you do use the optional filters, you'll need to click the Reprompt button to display a list of students to whom those filters apply. At the bottom of the report, you can select all students from that list or only individual students. Note that you cannot view more than 1,000 students in any single roster. Select Finish to run the report. The resulting student roster displays each student's name and state-assigned student identifier, or SASID, along with his or her test status, scaled score, achievement level, and SGP for ELA, mathematics, and science. If your roster contains more than 100 students, don't forget to click the Page Down link at the bottom of the screen to see more students. This report also allows you to drill down to view a student's complete testing history, as well as test results by question type and strand. When you click a student's SASID, you'll see an assessment history summary for that student, showing the subjects, years, scores, and SGP for all available tests that the student took. You can click the Test Date link to see additional details for that test, including the student's test points earned and possible points, and the percent correct for the student, school, district, and state. The last column shows the difference in percent correct between the state average and what the student scored. Just above the report, you can see the student's SASID, scaled score, achievement level, and SGP for the test date selected. To learn more about MCAS code descriptions in the report, click the MCAS roster legend link at the bottom. This report provides valuable information about how selected students in a school and grade level have performed on the MCAS. You can choose to view only a subset of students based on the population you want to see. Before you dive in, it's helpful to identify questions that can guide your exploration of the report and your analysis of the data it contains. You'll want to individualize these questions so they reflect your unique interests and concerns, but the questions shown here can get you started. You may want to use this report to examine scores for a set of students in a special education or ELL class at the beginning of the year to guide an instructional approach. If you want to see how a certain subgroup of students is performing at your school, you can select to view just those students. For example, if you want to see how the ELL students are performing, select that student group on the second prompt page and scroll through the roster to see how each student performed on ELA, mathematics, and science in the year you selected. You can also see the percentage of students in your group that achieved a proficient or higher performance level. This can quickly help you figure out what subject your selected group is struggling with most. From here, you can select an individual student and drill down into his or her assessment history. Click on a student's SASID to see how that student performed on all assessments in Massachusetts. Is there any indication that this student's performance is getting better? If the student's performance is poor, is the SGP showing any indication of progress? Can you identify where this student needs the most help, or is the child struggling in all subjects? These reports will help you examine patterns in student performance growth, and you can use those patterns to target instruction for particular student groups and individuals. Often you'll find that analyzing the data in a particular report leads to more questions that can only be answered by looking at other reports. Edwin Analytics ensures that you'll have the data you need in order to continue your inquiry and reflect on current district or school practices that may have contributed to the results you uncover. Here are just some of the reports you'll want to look at. Using IT 523, you can view a start of school year or end of school year MCAS item analysis roster for your classroom that displays, item by item, the percentage correct by classroom, school, district, and state. District-level report GR 301 and school-level report GR 401 both display a scatter plot of students' performance and growth by subgroup or grade level. To view a bar graph distribution of SGP by subgroup at the district level, use GR 302, or at the school level, GR 402. And with GR 601, you can view a scatter plot of individual student achievement versus growth in ELA and mathematics. This can help you identify patterns in student growth and performance, particularly in the context of subgroups, and to identify students whose growth or performance is significantly different than his or her peers.